Hey everybody, welcome to Ticket Stubs and Popcorn. I'm Peter.
And I'm Frank. How's it going, everybody?
Today's featured performer is Forest Whitaker.
Forest Whitaker. Hey, speaking of Forest Whitaker, now I got a question for you. Not speaking of Forest Whitaker. So I was thinking the other day about a particular actor, and I was just like, I haven't seen them in a while. So who haven't you seen in a while?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
Very good.
While you're thinking about that, I'm going to start talking about Forest Whitaker.
So, yeah, sure. Okay, you start.
My first one. Oh, hey, folks! By the way, if you could just like and subscribe, and you can check out the podcast if you like. That's kind of cool too. It's a fun thing when you're at the gym, and you can associate that painful experience with this painful experience. So.
Or if you're stuck in traffic and that painful experience, you
exactly.
can still.
So when you think of painful experiences, just
think of us.
Think about us. So. Anywho, my first Forest Whitaker movie is Lee Daniels the Butler.
Lee Daniels the Butler. Very
yep.
Good.
He is fantastic in an otherwise what I consider to be a slightly flawed film.
Yeah.
So it's he shows a great deal of strength and character and resilience and vulnerability, and he's such a big guy.
Yeah, he is. He's a big
and
man.
There are times when he is in situations that are meant to make him feel small, and you can see him reluctantly withering because
this shrinking in the
suit
there.
That it's the 1950s and it's America, and
there's a lot of restraint in that character.
Exactly. Yeah. So. But there's also a great deal of strength. His interactions with his sons are just fantastic. I love that. His proximity to power in the White House is so interesting because he's living day to day with like on a micro level with problems that these various presidents are trying to deal with on a macro level. And he does have such experience, and you can see that things that are going on in his life, he's in proximity to people who could help him.
Yes.
Like he's literally got the ear of the president. He can say, "Hey, my son just got arrested." You make a call, but that's not going to happen. No. Obviously, that's not his place. It's not something that he could do, and that frustration is, I think, a great symbol to frustration of racism in America. It's like you're so close to so much opportunity for things that could help you and move your life forward and stuff. But there's so much about like just the structures in place that don't allow you to do it. That just are just actively getting in your way.
Yeah,
and it's the movie does that really, really well. What I think the movie doesn't do well, and again, this doesn't take away from his performance at all, but I think what takes away from the movie is the rest of the cast, not the rest of the cast, but others in the cast. Yeah. It's like, oh, look who's playing Kennedy, and look who's playing Jackie Kennedy, and it's Robin Williams as Ike, and I think he was Ike, right?
Was he?
I think he was Eisenhower.
Yeah.
Look, it's John Cusack playing Nixon, doing a John Cusack impression. So it's that scene with Nixon / Cusack in the kitchen is so weird. It's so weird because it's John Cusack doing a Nixon impression, but it's sort of like John Cusack doing an impression of Nixon who's trying to do like a John Cusack impression.
Yeah.
So how someone would impersonate him impersonating himself. So let's just give him a puppet from the dude from Say Anything and have John Cusack doing Nixon impersonating John Cusack, who's doing a bit impersonating a John Cusack character. So it was just so weird.
It takes you out of your element.
It totally takes you out of the movie. And as I'm watching this thing with John Cusack Nixon, I'm like, what is happening right now? Why is John Cusack here?
Yeah.
And, oh,
How come his lips are moving?
he's
Oh no,
supposed
wait
to
a minute.
be-
He's a character.
He's supposed to be Nixon, and wow, this is really strange because Nixon is now Lloyd Dobler, and it's just it's so
No,
weird.
I get
So,
it. I
and
get
there's
it.
stuff like that throughout the movie where it's just like, oh, hey, look, it's James Marsden. It's It's Robin
While all
Williams.
that's
It's so
going
weird.
on, you have a phenomenal performance
right,
by Forest Whitaker.
right, exactly. So, so I really love that performance.
Which also makes you think what it might be like to be part of the staff, and I don't mean the White House staff. I mean the staffing of the building of the. So those people, like the butler,
Oh yeah,
are going to be there, and the other people are there for 4 or 8 years, and they're just residents.
You
They
just
just
see
come
them
in and
going
out,
through.
and you're still there.
Yeah,
You're still
so it's
working.
like who's playing the president this time?
Yeah, so
it's-
maybe that's how it might feel to
I
somebody
don't know.
who works there. Who knows?
maybe I thinking in those terms of you like to think that maybe Lee Daniels was just kind of like, oh yeah, so the staff is kind of like, oh look, it's
It's a guy who looks
it's the
like
guy who looks like it's
so-and-so.
a guy who's Obama, and
Yeah,
oh the
exactly.
next time it's like, oh
Yeah,
it's the
yeah.
dumpster fire Trump, and
Yeah,
so
it's
anyway.
yeah.
It's so that movie is perfectly wonderful.
Very good.
Also, I liked him in. This is such a weird thing. We've talked about older movies so many times, and we'll even jokingly say, "Oh, spoiler alert! Like this happened."
I know
in
it's a 40-year-old movie. Why
Casablanca.
are we try to?
The movie. My next movie is The Crying Game, which is such a even now, 30 years later. I don't want to spoil.
No,
And
no.
And I know that we say this all the time, and it should be our little catchphrase. If you have not seen this movie, see this movie. It is so good. It's got a great surprise in it.
Yeah.
And
so it's important that
Forrest,
we're not even. Gonna
I don't even want
that
to.
part.
But that non-spoiler part of it was such a huge part of that movie at the time.
Oh yeah.
It was don't spoil it, and people respected it, and it's you're glad that there was no internet at the time because that would have been ruined many times.
Yeah.
So thank goodness that it wasn't, because it really does improve your experience of this movie.
Oh yes.
Joe, what's his name? Forrest Whitaker plays a guy named Jody, who's a British soldier taken captive by the IRA, and he ends up getting killed, and the guy who was his minder during this captive time ends up sort of going and looking into other aspects of Jody's life, and he sort of gets involved, and there are surprises there, and there are flashes of conversations that he has with Jody, and then there are flashes of Jody just kind of laughing at him like, "Ha, surprise, motherfucker,"
Yeah.
And it's a really, really great movie, and Forrest Whitaker in it is so fantastic. He's so he's very passive in the movie, because he's he doesn't it doesn't become this like captive captor kind of battle thing, because that happens very early on in the movie, and the rest of it is about this Irish soldier, this Irish IRA soldier, seeing aspects of Forrest Whitaker's life, and it's fantastic. It's so good, and what's really interesting is, given the nature of the surprise, given that it's such a great surprise, you don't see that movie referenced, or you don't see that that spoiler mentioned a lot. So that's kind of, I don't know if it's because the movie's just been forgotten, or
maybe, but
if
I don't
the
know.
movie, or if
and
people
it's not
are
like
just
a shtick either. It's
No,
not like,
no, it's not.
this is what our surprise is. It's
no,
not like that.
it's very integral to the story. It really is, and it's just interesting that that's not something that has that's already come out as that's what
Yeah.
you never hear of something like they crying gamed it or anything like that.
Yeah, you're right. You're
So
right.
it's not part of like the collective consciousness of like.
Yeah, whereas like another movie that's kind of made me think about it only in this aspect. Um, Psycho. When Psycho came out, there was they had a panel on the film, like at the beginning of the film. You know what I mean? Please don't tell the ending of this movie. And that was respect. Everybody watched the movie, kept Hitchcock's little secret, and because they asked them to.
Yeah.
But though I think now you kind of know what it is, but I think that movie is referenced so much more than the Crying Game. It's like Crying Game's able to fly under the radar, and
it really is.
That secret is pretty much preserved.
It is. So, and it's one of the few movies that's that old that I'll still like.
Yeah, I don't like to.
Because it's so good.
Yeah.
So my next
and plus it does enhance your enjoyment of.
Oh, most definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it does.
So,
but, yeah.
I would I'd go. My next one would be it's a franchise thing. It's his role as Saw Gerrera in the Star Wars.
Oh,
movie.
yes.
So he's in Rogue One. He shows up in Rebels, and the character shows up in Bad Batch.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a compliment to the actor that I cannot stand this character.
I know. I understand.
The character is just drives me insane. I'm just like, no, you listen to yourself. You're causing more problems than you're solving. And we first got to see him in Rogue One. And then
Right.
Yeah. So you didn't get to see other stuff about him, and you know other stuff about him through the animation stuff. So you understand a lot more about him when you get to Rogue One. But it doesn't make him any more sympathetic for me. I find the character very frustrating. Well, but it's a great portrayal of an unfortunately frustrating character that I find frustrating.
Yeah.
So, but he's fantastic.
I guess there's a real reason why we find it frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, and
he's still on the correct. He's still on the right side.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
But he's
play
like
well
the
with
last,
others.
exactly, because I think he feels he's the last of this pure strain of resistance.
Right, and he's lost.
And everybody else, even though they might be on the same side, he doesn't feel like
he doesn't appreciate
them. He doesn't want them.
Their
he
tactics.
Doesn't exactly. He still feels like the old way. Or the original way that he had in mind is still the
right way to do it.
It's the right way.
So, and it's that stubbornness that just drives me crazy. Yeah. Considering there's so much in that franchise that relies on people finally realizing that we need to work together, especially at the beginning of
this movement,
the rebellion against the Empire. There were so many factions that were able to come together, and there's this one asshole just blowing stuff up. It's just like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
So, that's
interesting. Good stuff.
My Forest Whitaker stuff.
Forest Whitaker's been with us for a long time, and hopefully will be for a lot longer. He's got a lot. He's got his body of work is great.
Yeah, it's huge.
It is, and he's can be a force to be reckoned with still, and which is interesting because a lot of times when we see him, he's a big man. He's an imposing man. Sometimes more than others. It's the way he's played up too. But I remember the first time that I recognized, saw him in a movie and said, "Oh, this is a character that I'm not forgetting, right? I'm not going to forget, and I'd like to, maybe see this guy in something else." Is Fast Times at Ridgemont High, where he's playing the big, in every sense of the word, the big man on campus, the big football star. And even though he's not in a lot, he's in enough where you see what's going on. And so that kind of catches my eye. But we've seen him and stuff, but the first one on my list, first one that I saw, they said, wow, this guy can really play dramatic role and can't take my eyes off him on the screen is Bird, which is we've talked about biopics, and are they tougher to do? Do they I don't know. Feel like they hold a place where we expect more because no, this is
Right.
in this case a 20th century person. So he's Bird, which is the nickname of Charlie Parker, seminal jazz saxophonist, and so this movie is to me very successful because of two main reasons. Forest Whitaker playing the part of Charlie Parker, and the deft hand of a creative director, but a director, in this case Clint Eastwood, who just loves this topic.
Yeah.
He's the big jazz fan, and so it seems to be in the perfect hands to do this. And Forest Whitaker's elicits this great, performance from the script. And so, we see more of the self-destructive, maybe, side of Bird. He's, in addition to being just supremely talented musician, he did hit the bottle at different times, and he enjoyed his drugs, and he sometimes off, sometimes on.
As one should, if they're gonna do
he's
that.
He's an artist.
If he's gonna do that, enjoy it. Because you don't want to see him going, heroin again.
Oh, it's 3 o'clock. I gotta do my shot now.
Bored with this. That's why I don't think I would ever be an addict. I don't have the attention span for it. I'd be like, bourbon again. I just don't. Seriously.
So he's just wonderful.
As I minimize drug and alcohol addiction to my little bit. I'm such a asshole.
So he's wonderful in this one. It's a great thing. Like I also happen to be a fan of jazz, but that's not my into the movie. It's just accessible.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff. It's an excellent movie, and he's great. So that's my first pick, Bird. Second pick of his is I guess coincidentally another biopic of a 20th century figure. Is Last King of Scotland. Where he plays Idi Amin.
Yeah, a man who enjoyed his vices.
Right? Yeah.
If you're gonna vice it up, you may as well do it with bagpipes in Africa.
Got it. So he's another larger than life figure, another physically imposing person, but with a will and determination that's not going to be in the positive side.
Yeah, no, he's
a dictator in every sense of the word. He's a despot in every sense of the word.
Yeah, there's someone embracing their role.
Yeah, he's Ugandan, so he's wants to lead and does lead his country, and there are times that he is on the verge of genocide with some tribes in his country, and it's just the way it was. Not nice, but this powerful personality that sometimes could be eerily charming, and he still sees himself as part of the old British Empire. So that's with this weird continuity in his head is where he sees himself as the last king of Scotland. So he's got this British rule thing going through it, but with an iron fist, to the point where he's still using these weird old trappings, including like marching bands that are playing bagpipes, full-blooded Ugandans just marching.
I have suggested many times on the show that we use bagpipes, and Peter's like, no bagpipes. No.
What can I say? I do love a good bagpipe. I do.
Man, we sent Corky for lessons and everything.
I've got a CD downstairs. Actually, I got a couple of them now that I think about it. But
that's not something you want to brag about.
No, I don't. I do like bagpipes, but that's beside the point. Idi Amin, portrayed by Forest Whitaker.
It's another good one.
Phenomenal. Right. Great. It's a good little supporting cast. Not big names, especially at the time, but great. Wonderful. Visceral. It's he's there. We there's like no apologizing. It's a personality, a real person that lived.
All right.
In the 20th century and was for better for worse.
Mostly worse. He was a terrible person.
Oh yeah.
Who else you got?
So there he was. Forrest Whitaker did a great job. My third one pick would be not a biopic.
Okay.
Another great, as far as I'm concerned, great, wonderful performance. I'm in a movie which I can only describe as the most non-Jim Jarmusch movie.
Okay.
Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai.
Okay. I don't know that
He
movie.
is a
Jim Jarmusch does manage to put samurais into his movies, though, doesn't he?
So he's got this character, Ghost Dog, who is a hitman, pretty much freelance. But at this time, he's
free. Okay. I'm just thinking that's the way to go. It's just freelance. You have your days free.
You got your
just
own
work
hours.
when you want.
Yeah.
No one's telling you what to wear.
Which is strange, because if you think about it, whether you're a jazz musician or a dictator or
an assassin,
you want to go. Might as well be freelance.
You want to work for yourself, because then you don't want anybody telling you.
Exactly.
Right. Every day is casual Friday. Right? Seriously. It's just like,
no one is going to tap you on the shoulder and go, Edie, we need to talk. You need to wear that shirt with a tie.
Seriously, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I think your assassin uniform needs more flair.
More flair.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you always know who ate the last donut in the break room. So, all right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So he plays the part of this hitman who at the time is under the employ of some local mafia people. So that's what he does. But the thing that makes him different, and it's why I appreciate the Forest Whitaker acting performance, is that he's so disciplined in this movie, and he is bound by this old samurai code. So he lives this code. He breathes it. He reads it all the time. He's just dictated by honor and how it's supposed to be. So there is a problem as it relates to the mafia people, and perhaps a botched hit that he was supposed to do. So now things are coming around again. So the mafia family is now after him, and he's going to defend himself. So he's going after them. But it's this whole thing about honor, and that's what really separates him, because there really is not that much honor on the other side.
See, this is where being freelance becomes a problem, because if he was actually part of the organization, they could have sorted this out with HR.
HR would have taken care of it, retirement would have been
and
good,
there'd be a procedure.
Plan.
There's got to be a paper trail. So first, they speak to him. then there's like 3 write-ups.
Yeah, the write-ups
and then
before
there,
it gets,
and then it becomes a disciplinary thing, and then there's termination. So freelancing, it's got its positives. You got some freedom, but you're not really protected by the organization.
Yeah.
So
it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
There is a good, unions
just turn the whole thing into a bit, but
unions do have their place.
Right?
It's
exactly.
For some people.
You could have had some
For
HR,
jobs. It's protection.
some HR help.
So he's just wonderful.
You just got to picture like a Tony Soprano type sitting here. And then you've got you got Forest Whitaker sitting here.
So I can't just put a hit on him.
So, and then you've got
no, sir.
You've got the HR person played by I don't know, Megan Mullally.
Yes, yeah.
She's like, all right, let's see, what's the problem? I'm sorry.
You have to fill out those TPS reports.
Right?
You have to fill out.
There's paperwork.
Has he had a proper warning? No.
Yeah. See, it needs to be a paper trail. You have the procedures in place for a reason, Guido.
So as Ghost Dog, he lives by this code, and that's what separates him. And it's just what it is. He's a samurai by nature, we'll say, and it's a great movie. Different, but it's a good one.
I just know
good one nonetheless.
I've never seen the movie, but now I can never see the movie because I would.
Or you will, and you'll just take it the wrong way the whole way through.
Laughing my head off the whole entire time. Like, could you guys just talk about this?
That's right.
You should just have a meeting.
Oh, I get called out on the carpet again.
This problem could have been. It's like those memes, when a meeting could have been an email. This is when a hit could have been an email.
You got it.
So, all right. No, that sounds really fantastic.
Definitely. And he's also the kind of guy that you could see him in a little bit thing within a movie, or it's not even a big thing. Like he could be whatever, chief of police or somebody's this and that one, just a little thing here and there, and it always works. Or just a big thing like Bird. He's on the screen.
He's got a very soothing presence when the role calls for it. So you've got something like Phone Booth or Panic Room,
was that on Vantage Point
like that.
maybe or something? I forget.
But he does have that.
Yeah.
But given his size and he's very intense, you could see where he could be very intimidating as well. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Let me recap while I remember. So
because I couldn't remember my own 3.
Right. So it's Ghost Dog.
Yep.
Samurai Dude.
Yep.
And then you had, oh my God, so now your forgetfulness is going to
It's catchy.
Me. Yeah, it really is. There's Bird, and then there's, just tell me.
Last King of Scotland.
That's what it is. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan. I mean, it's a fine movie.
Yeah. I love his performance. Yeah.
Go ahead. And mine? Do you remember mine? You don't.
I have no idea. So long ago. Yeah, exactly. How many bits was that ago? We had a couple of skits in there. You had we'll just use his character as Saul Guerrera through the
Saul Guerrera is his accountant.
Saul is his
cousin, the accountant. Saul
SAW Saul Guerrera.
Saul Guerrera
as through the Star Wars family. So that role.
Yeah.
And then Lee Daniels, the butler, and oh boy, that was the second one, the one in the middle. Let me think. The Crying Game, very good.
All right, cool.
Your
great.
secret's safe with me.
Yes. All right, great. Let's. Oh, wait, we had a question, didn't we? I thought I was about to ask for the bucket. No, let's do. Who have we not seen in a while?
Oh yeah.
Who have we not seen in a while?
Who have we not seen for a while?
Burt Reynolds.
But yeah, I was about to say there are some
dead people.
There are some people who I think we could just eliminate because we know why.
Yeah,
we don't
old.
see them, like Gene Hackman.
Yeah, so
you just retire. Whatever, you're 90 or close to it, and you're done. You're just done.
Yeah.
So makes perfect sense that you don't see some people sometimes. But then there are the other ones where something will hit you, or you see an old movie and you go, "Hey, how come we haven't seen so and so?" So I would say the one that I first thought of when you asked the question, Cameron Diaz.
Yeah. She came to mind.
I have no idea where.
She's like making wine.
Yeah, she's doing wine.
Yeah, she's doing wine. Something like that.
Food or something.
Michelle Pfeiffer is another one that.
Yeah.
I mean, she's in the Marvel stuff, so and Ant-Man and all that. So she's been in there. But no other sort of other stuff like that.
And like I said, sometimes you know there's some people who just make a point to either announce a retirement or the fact that they are taking time off to spend with their family.
But it's interesting.
This or that one. But then there are other ones you don't know. They're just like, what happened?
You just sort of think about people like folks that would normally, they'd have a movie out like kind of every year, like Owen Wilson. But it's just like, what's he's doing, Marvel stuff, Loki and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool.
And he has a big presence in that movie. In the series.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's got a little bit.
So and given all the restrictions of COVID for the last year or so, but it's just interesting how sometimes
Oh no, definitely
not really around a little bit, and so many folks have because movies get promoted so much and TV stuff not as much. So
correct.
You're or promoted differently. So when it's just like, I haven't seen Reese Witherspoon or Nicole Kidman or
I don't watch
but
TV.
they're doing a lot of HBO stuff.
I don't watch TV as much, and sometimes I'll think, I haven't seen so and so in a while, and then I may say that my wife or to you or to somebody else, and then they'll say, well, they're on this series on TV, and I go,
okay.
Sorry, I didn't know that. I don't watch. But there are other ones like Cameron Diaz, you just go, nope, haven't seen her anywhere.
I can't wait for Cameron Diaz to come out of that bucket of Cameron Diaz. Let's see. What do we got?
Go for it. You got Cam? Is Cam in there?
It is not Cameron Diaz.
Nope.
It is. I was gonna kind of come up with like another Cameron, but I couldn't think of one other than
Cameron Crowe. Yeah, is that funny? That was the first one I thought of there.
I can't think of another one. Right? Cameron.
I'm sure there are.
Ferris Bueller's good friend Matthew Broderick. Well, what the hell is he doing these days? What's he been doing?
Well, that's a good one,
right? Michael J. Fox. What are his excuses?
Ooh,
I haven't seen anybody.
Although is Matthew Broderick doing stuff like? Is he doing? He was doing Broadway sometimes.
Yeah.
Once in a while, but I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Anybody's
got a line on Matthew Broderick? That'd be great. Have him give us a call. So that'd be cool.
Good. Yep. So looking forward to it.
All right. Hey, thanks, folks, for either watching the show on YouTube or downloading the podcast. It's a lot of fun to do. We got a link in the show notes, and at the end of the show, if you're watching this on YouTube, link to the merch store there. So if you want to support the show, that'd be super duper cool. Thanks so much. Find us on Instagram, follow us there, Facebook, all that good stuff. Twitter as well. We've got a Twitter feed that occasionally we throw stuff out on. So, that's it. So thanks, and we'll talk to you next time.